Okay, cool. Well, someone might join eventually. One concurrent viewer at the moment, so I assume no one's here. If I'm wrong, go ahead and put something in the chat. Maybe we'll stop watching ourselves. Sweet, got it pulled up on my phone so I can see it at least. So I'm just gonna like jump into it. So yeah, let's get to it. So currently what I'm doing is I'm making the boiler block, because this stream is going to focus on making on adding the stuff. The machines, really, and the whole tech system. So fluid, we want to accept water for this, and we want to take a maximum of 3 buckets at a time. And true, we'll just say true. So this should let the boiler block take buckets of water, and it doesn't. Well, okay, that's a little loud. Doesn't take it, but we are getting something in the chat, so that's good. Drain returns a fluid stack, so fluid stack dot amount. We can see how much water it's trying to take. Okay, here we go. Yes, are you going to tell me why? Ah, okay. So what we'll do here, fluid stack, fluid equal, we'll call this cap, it's from a capability. Cap dot drain, max drain and do drain. Okay, so 3000 do drain, true. So then we'll system dot out print I wouldn't say a heavy Texan accent, but maybe. Fluid amount. Let's see how much water it's trying to give it, at least. Time set day. Well, yeah, that should be enough for it to... Huh, and we're still getting a null... Well, of course we would be. If fluid is not null, then we'll print this out. Else, we'll print out an error. Oops. Huh. It's really weird, actually. We'll try it with this. Also getting no fluid stack. I wonder if it's just something in these. Water bucket. So, water bucket, what does it do? Oh, it does... You don't need brackets if it's just one line. The next line is assumed in there. You can have brackets if it's multiple lines, but if it's just one, you don't. But it is taking the max amount of fluid from this, so some decent whiskey. Anyway, so let's see what happens in survival. That's creative. Not a lot happens in survival, honestly. I mean, well, it takes it, so the capability is being registered. I don't understand, though, why drain... Drain should be doing its thing, really. So maybe, player in, set held item, the hand you clicked with, get container. Let's try this. Well, that works, sort of. I thought a water bottle had that. Well, we'll take it. This should take all modded sources of water now. So that's a plus. So what we'll do is if fluid is not null, we will need the brackets this time. We will get the tile entity. Tile entity. We'll get the tile entity that's at this position. Should be the tank. Isn't always, because Forge is screwy as fuck. So if tile entity is instance of tile entity boiler, this should always be true. Sometimes it isn't. We'll cast tile entity to a boiler variable. So one of these days I'll learn how to spell. Boiler set Add. Really? I gotta add these functions. Okay. So, like, public. Well, no, I guess I should be filling. I guess I should do fill, technically. Fluid registry, water, do fill, true, fluid dot amount. That's how you spell amount. So this should fill it with however much that it took from the container. Alright, so that should be filled, but I don't have any way of checking that. System.out. Let's make it tell us how much it has. Shit. Get fluid amount. Also, feel free to ask me any questions about any of my mods if you want. So, I guess that's honestly not getting us anything. Actually, it shouldn't be doing that because that's removed. Huh. Oh. Oops, that's a PM. Shouldn't do that. Anyway, so shit. Let's just try this. With water. So, that works pretty flawlessly. And it says it has 0. Even after being filled. So let's see what fill is called. Oh. That's because it just returns 0. Alright, I was having some issues with that. Now let's try it. So now it returns 1,000, which is what it should have. Let's see if it returns 2,000. 3, 4, 4 it should not do. Huh. It's adding only 10 to this for some reason. It's actually not going over 1,010. That means I probably fucked up my yeah, this thing. So if the fluid we try to fill this with is water, and if the millibuckets of water plus the millibuckets of water we're trying to add in is less than or equal to the maximum amount of water, then add the entire thing. So this adds the entire thing if do fill is true. And either way it returns. That's what it should do. If the total water in the system is greater, max water minus water, this is how much it can take, then water plus however much it can take, return however much it can take. If none of that is true, return 0. I can't fathom why it would want to... I honestly can't fathom why it would want to take 1010. Again, 1010. Huh. Oh, well, we could at least do... fluid. I keep wanting to check that message, but it's a bad idea. And these aren't stackable, so I can't just give myself multiple, unfortunately. So, let's try this way. 1010. Nice. Get fluid amount just returns water. Which it should. Oh, we might be turning it all into steam, actually. I didn't think about that, but I've already added in that functionality. So boiler, get steam. So, yep, it's being turned into steam. All that water is. So, yeah, it was working. Just turning it into steam. I need to make it explode if you put too much steam in it. But that'll probably be for a little bit later of a time. Right now, this is currently working. Steam's being added, it's taking heat below it, and it's filling the tank. So that's all what it should do. So next up, what we're gonna need to do, I've been starting to make a steam thing. So next up, what we're gonna want to do is to probably add either a steam engine or some pipes. Both are important. The pipes are going to be especially difficult because I want to make them because I want the pipes need to hold multiple things. They need to hold steam, they need to remember how hot they are, they need to hold water on the way back that's already condensed. So that's going to be a little bit of a chore, but let's do them first. Let's go ahead and do them. So we'll go to blocks, public static oh, I said we were doing pipes. Well, we're doing an engine now, I guess. Already started it, may as well. So, I don't think we really need anything as far as the blocks go. As far as the block functions, rather. Because I think we're just going to make it interact solely with steam. I don't see any reason to put things into the engine setup itself, because like all the steam is generated somewhere else. This just converts it into energy. Well, I guess we could put a battery or something in it, maybe. Should we do this? Should this generate should this be a generator or like a rotational energy? It should be rotational. This turns steam into rotational energy, which then can be connected via axles to a to an electric generator or anything really. So let's give this a shot. Decorations for now. So, block tile base. It just has some simple basic functions of a tile entity. I think this takes a material and a tile entity. Material iron, well, a tile entity supplier. Which is created like so. So first off, we need to copy this. We need to create this in our tile entity package. We need to make sure it extends tile entity. We're also going to need it to implement iTickable, because it needs to do things every tick, which is take heat or steam energy and turn it into rotational. Make sure we do the right one. So there's that. There's that. And I'm not going to model on stream because I absolutely suck at it. But I'll shove something in user creations at some point. But what we need to do now is, now that the block's registered, we're going to need to register the tile entity, which is easy to do as soon as I remember how I did it. Ah, we have a oh yeah, I remember. I made a register thing now. So shoot, where do we do this at? Yeah, register tile entity. Tile. Oh, we copied this for a reason. Tile entity engine dot class, and this is the registry name. Our Steampunk Mod ID will be appended onto the end of it. So we just need engine on this. So there we go. That's that registered. So it should be in the game at least, not functional, but in the game. So we need to implement some of our things, like Steam. Do I have? Actually, I might need to create some more. No, I made a nice Steam receiver. So this is my own custom energy API, and I'm gonna make this open source like all my other mods. That way, if someone wants to hook into this, they can. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably go ahead and make it compatible with Forge energy. That way, make it compatible with Forge energy. That way. Oh, that way it'll power things like Galacticraft, immersive engineering, all your basic energy shit. So public static final integer, how much steam this thing can take. We'll just make it be able to take as much as the boiler can possibly. A bucket, maybe? A bucket sounds about right. I won't be implementing a bucket full of steam because that's fucking stupid. But we will need a private int, sorry. Private integer steam, which is how much steam it has currently, which is none, but we'll change that soon enough. Will we need it to update? Yeah, we'll need it to update at least a little for the animation, for the Steam engine at least. We'll need it to save its stuff, so we'll need this. Alright, so like the Steam Energy API that I'm making is a push-based system. So what happens is your producing tiles will push to a connector. So like my boiler pushes to all available iSteam receivers, or iSteam connections, really. And yeah, that's basically it. So if this steam, or if this dot steam, so if the steam we have now plus the steam coming in is greater than the capacity, we'll make it explode just straight off the bat. Don't fuck with my energy system, you'll die. Capacity. I'm just gonna copy it because I'm too drunk for this mess. Sweet. So, well, if world is not remote, which means if it's running on the logical server, then world spawn, is it spawn explosion? Create explosion. Yeah. Null for the entity. This dot get oh fuck. Get position, get X. So basically at these coordinates, that's what we want. Strength, we'll just do 1F for now. I don't know what this is. Damage to terrain, yes. We want to make a big fucking crater. And again, if you have any questions about any of my mods, or even the team in general, go ahead. Else, if steam coming in is less than that, and we will put regulator pipes and what have you, we'll have a safety valve, so if steam gets too great a pressure, it just vents into the atmosphere, which will set on fire any entities around, because it has to do something. Otherwise, there's no point. But yeah. Has to do something painful, rather. So else, if steam is less than that, then what we want to do is this dot steam plus equal to steam. Just set the steam to that steam, and we'll add the steam to our current steam, and call mark dirty, which tells it needs to be saved. This dot get maximum steam per tick. I don't know why this exists, and I feel like it shouldn't, so I'll remove that later. Anyway, And when we're reading it from the compound, which is what saved it on the disk, all we really need so far is the Steam. So this.steam equals compound dot get integer Steam. That's not how you spell it. Steam. So now we almost have saving to the disk done. There we go. And now on a world reload, this will keep its Steam. When something's changed, we want it to send a packet, which is a new tile update packet, and it goes to the tile at this position with a type of -1 because we don't care about the type, with a MBT tag of this.getUpdate tag. Now this.getUpdate tag currently will just be this dot write to a blank tag, so basically we'll save everything that's being saved to disk, which is just the Steam version, which is perfectly fine. And now this runs on the client side. So when we get a packet, what we want it to do is basically make this.steam equal to pkt, the packet, the compound tag in the packet, and get integer Steam. So now the client will know about the client will now know about the amount of Steam that this has when the block state is set. And because we're going to be using that, what we want to do is override should refresh. That way we can tell it if the block state is changed, we don't necessarily want to create a new tile entity, because that's not always what you want. So, if the base blocks are different, though, then we do want it to update. We want it to remove the tile entity if it's not this block, and we want it to update if it's a new one. So this will keep it from losing all our data every time we change the block state. Pardon. So on update. So this creates rotational energy out of Steam. So we want a new private, damn, I guess it should be an integer. Shit. So realistically, what we're wanting is an expression of torque. So torque's generally measured in foot-pounds, where I'm at, but blocks are meters, so it's like at least 3.29 foot-pounds. 3.29 meter pounds, really, per. Anyway, we'll just make our own torque settings. I guess we'll keep with the theme. TORQUE. We'll keep with this theme and make them integers, but I don't really know how I want to implement this yet. So if this dot Steam is greater than 0, then take away some of that. That's not where those should go. Then take away one millibucket of Steam and update and update the torque by 1 millibucket. Not a millibucket of torque. 1 torque point is all I can say currently, because I don't know really what I want that to do. Now we do need a maximum torque that this shaft can withstand before it snaps like a twig, and maybe explodes too, because I like exploding. No, it shouldn't explode, it should just break. So we'll need another state for that. But we'll do that later. For now, what we need to do is go to the tile entity that's steam. That's the boiler, and we need it to look. We need it to put out its steam, because it doesn't currently. Do steam shit. So if this dot steam is greater than 0, if it has steam, then what we're gonna want to do is for every facing value that exists, so up, down, north, south, every facing value that exists, we're going to want to iterate through that, and every time see if there is a tile entity there. Tile entity t equals world.get tile entity, this dot get position, offset, face. So this gets every tile entity directly surrounding this block, and if the tile entity pardon, if the tile entity is an instance of steam connection, that's what the pipes are meant to be, and also receivers and output are all. So maybe I should maybe I gotta make both of them a receiver and a connector technically. I need to think about this. No, I don't. I just need to do shit. I don't want to think about anything. So we'll cast tile entity 2 an iSteam connection, and if it oh no, that's all just okay. So if it's iSteam receiver, I wrote this a little while ago, and I can't remember, like a little while ago, like a month or so ago, and I can't remember exactly how I did it. So I'm having issues there. Then receive steam. Yeah, this is the boiler. If there's a receiver around, receive steam. I don't know how much steam this really should put out a tick. Probably about 10 steams. So like 10 millibuckets. So like a centibucket? I don't know. So receive steam 10. Actually, we'll go for 3,000 just because we want to make it explode first off. We want to build up the steam until it fucking explodes. So let's give this a test. Been a while since we've been back in game. And again, feel free to ask any sort of questions you may have. Also, it's 480p because, like, I don't have the best system, and people kept complaining about it's stuttering, and so I figure a smooth video is more important than a high quality one. Okay. So this should explode right off the bat. And it hasn't, and that's sad. I don't know why it's done this. Like, tile entity engine should be system dot out. So this should be running every tick and filling up, but it's not actually running at all, it would seem. Because if this had any steam, it should be going. And if, while it tries to receive steam, if the steam is greater, if the total steam in the system is greater than a bucket, then it should explode. But it doesn't explode. I guess it should also technically set the steam to 0 while we're at it. That way we don't fuck up some stuff. So, but that's not important. The most it would do is repeatedly explode. So that's not important right now. What's important is we figure out why it may do that. Do I have a return in here or something? So this takes heat. This, if it heats over a certain level, it takes water and converts it to steam. I should make this variable depending on how much heat we have, the faster it goes. But I'm going to do that later. If steam is greater than 3,000, I see. That's probably our issue. Let's try. Let's go hardcore mode. Okay. Boiler. Okay. Well, this should be this dot mark dirty. Should also mark dirty because we're changing stuff here. So system out print steam steam. So let's see how much steam we have in the boiler. There we go. There we go. Too much steam and it explodes. We had total steam of 3,010. Oh, I wasn't waiting long enough because I'm an impatient bitch. Let's see how long it takes if we do this the right way to explode. And we'll see if that's how we want it. Fire isn't the only way you can do this. I think you can do it with a torch to have a lesser. Oh yeah, look at that. It just sails right on up there, slowly getting to a bucket of steam. And it builds because it's got nowhere to go. Actually, we should make it where if it's receiving steam, well, we'll make the transfer like 25 millibuckets a tick. And we'll make this steam minus equals 25 millibuckets. So that'll keep building. That'll keep building until we put a engine there. And now it should start shrinking, correct? It doesn't. It should. That should get us up to about... Right there, but unfortunately... Oh, I remember now. I know what issues we're having. If steam is greater than 3,000, we just want 25. Because that's how much we're putting out. Yeah, so now the steam is rapidly falling until it explodes, because I think we set it a maximum of a millibucket. So, that is good though. So far, this means that we have a steam system working that can process steam, an engine, a system that can transport steam across blocks, and a way to utilize steam in some respect. Currently, it's just exploding, but you know, you gotta do something, I guess. The only issue is this .steam isn't increasing. So this should straight explode if it tries to add more steam. It does explode, so we know this is happening. However, this .steam should plus equal that, yet it does not. Oh, engine is calling in here. It's just being overshadowed by the boiler. So, we're seeing stuff being... Now we're seeing the engine gain steam here. And if it's putting this out, that means it's iterating over the... Where's the engine? It's iterating over the, this thing here. So we can see how much steam we have, but also we can modify it to tell us how much torque it's outputting. Okay, sweet. So it's getting into the thousands of torque. So now we can implement a rotational power system. And I don't really know where I want it to end, because you can keep converting between the systems forever and ever and ever. But this should also have now that I think of it, this should also have water. In fact, water is going to have to be able to move through the system just as much as steam is, because steam condenses into water. And that's where pipes will come in handy. Is we'll have different tiers of pipes, all with different different insulation types. And the hotter a pipe is, the less steam is lost to water. And water, of course, just flows back to either a drain, your nearest drain in the system, or to back into your boiler, which then increases stuff. So currently we have the very basics of a power system implemented. That's good. It explodes when it gets mad. That's also good. It can only take a bucket of steam before it explodes. That's cool. So this should also be this dot mark dirty. So this is where I'd say I need input from y'all but there's none of you watching, so... Huh? Oh, wow. So apparently you people have been speaking to me, and I wasn't on live chat, and I apologize for that. Wyatt Taylor, the Steampunk mod is a standalone mod I'm making by myself. I have 3 mods currently. This will be the 4th. And it's just a mod that I'm making for basically no fucking reason. I just want... There's not a lot of steampunk mods that are done right in my eyes, and so I'm creating them. So, here's another thing. Now that I realize that people are actually here, I'm not on Top Chat anymore. So, Steampunk, there's several vehicles in the mod. Vehicles that are, in fact, the most done thing in the mod. There's the submarine here, which has, like, real, opening animations. You can close it. It's cool. I should have done that over water. Oh, here's one. I'll show off some of the vehicles now, just because I want to. You can, shit. You can jump on your submarine. And, you can right-click, shift right-click to open, right-click to get in, and then right-click to close it, and you can sail off into the sunset. And there's different angles you can put it at to see it go up and down more. And the cool thing about this is that, like, it angles your player so your player sits in it correctly with different rotations, which isn't a thing that a lot of mods have. And when it goes up, it'll level out because you're not in water anymore and you can't move like that because physics. Also, in survival, it'll give you air so long as the hatch is closed. And also, if you notice, it does stop the time set day. It does stop the water overlay from rendering. If you see that block texture that's ugly as hell and makes it where you can't see anything, that doesn't render in here, even though you get the fog. And that's one of the many vehicles in the Steampunk mod. I have a glider. I don't know if I've, like... I might have to reload the mod to get that, but, like... Steampunk, submarine... Oh, yeah. There's a lot more, like, there's a digger in here. A drill ship, which is the first mod I made for this. And when you're in it, actually, you already have to fuel the thing. So I've been working on that. Since it is a steampunk mod, it just takes the same fuel as like a furnace. Everything that you can put in a furnace, you can put in this, and it burns for as long as a furnace does. And see, you can go through blocks and mine them. It used to put it in its own inventory. I've had issues with that. I'm gonna fix it later. But not only can you mine them like this, you can also sink down into the ground and tunnel. That's a work in progress and apparently broken, but that's the thing you're supposed to be able to do with it. Another thing is the ship. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever watched Treasure Planet, that old Disney animation. But if you notice, like, the ship that they have, the Hispaniola, it's a fucking beautiful ship. So I'm making the ability to create those in my Steampunk mod. Like the whole solar sails, block built, sailing into the cosmos kind of futuristic steampunk ship. Now, if you see here, it's an issue. It's like Da Vinci's vessels currently, only it doesn't take into account really where you were. I'm working on this, and your blocks will always face north currently. I'm working on that too. But the main point is, like, they fly, and it's the bare bones of the system down. You can raise and lower. And you're going to be able to fly to all sorts of planets with this. And when you get off of it, it turns back into blocks. So you can edit it. So that's the basics of that system down. The boiler's got its basics down. And we have a system for the engine. I'll have to add like an eye rotational energy provider, receiver, and connection interfaces later. But that's, of course, later. And it's brought to my attention that I and one other person is the only people watching this. So, rip. So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna call it there because I don't have a lot more to do. So, and I have work in the morning. So, like, tomorrow I'll probably work on making it, in fact, if you want to stick, whoever my two people are currently in the stream, if you want to stick around, I'll show you the steam glider type of thing. It's like a powered plane power pack type thing that I have going on currently. I've been working on the base mechanics for it. It's a little screwy, honestly. But, like, I'm working on it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so basic power system. That's the base power system done and working. The rules of it are defined, like whether it's a push or pull based system. I went with push. And we'll probably have to have both on the pipes, but we'll do the pipes tomorrow, or I will, because they're going to be a little complicated, because you have to have outgoing steam, incoming water, a heat variable, a loss depending on the heat variable. It's a mess. And also connections. Connections are not easy to get. Mel, I don't know if you're still on, but I'm gonna have to do those in entity mode. It'd be nice if I could, like, see who was still on, but I can't, so, like, hi. Anyway, we're gonna go to the steam, the glider thing. Boiler, engine, glider. There we go. So, game... shit. Game mode 0. We'll go into survival here. We'll put it on. It has... I'm gonna get rid of the leather armor thing. Don't worry about it. I don't remember how to make it fly. I think it might be based on, like, your actual speed. Oh, yeah. I went with, like, NASA's lift calculations, I think. Which makes it where, like, it's almost physically impossible to take off. I don't know why I did that, but, like, you can see the base animation here is ready to go. I think you actually have to glide off something. So, like... no, it just kills you. So, obviously the glider needs to be reworked, but, like, it gives you, what it gives you the renderer, and that's, like, the hard part. So, that's the hard part done. I just have to do all the rest of it now. And if you notice, there's an ambient sound for... ah, that's freaky. So yeah, it refills your air while you're in it. I probably need to fix some stuff on it. Makes visibility a little better, but not that much. So it's also a work in progress. So yeah. The propeller is also invisible. It does have a propeller, it's just invisible. So that's the Steampunk mod so far. Thanks for the 2 of you that tuned into my stream, and have a good night.